My name is Rob Ferguson, Secretary of Dorset Palestine Solidarity Campaign. I'm one of the many Jewish voices that are often not heard on this question. I share this deputation with Lisa Jameela Musli, a woman of Palestinian heritage. The International Court of Justice has ruled that there is a plausible case of genocide against Israel. In truth, genocide is in plain sight, live-streamed. A rising number of Jewish Holocaust historians of international renown, including Israeli, have deemed Israel to be committing genocide in Gaza. Today is Nakba Day, commemorating the destruction of Palestinian society and homeland in 1948, when the majority of the Palestinian people were driven from their homes. You have before you, therefore, a submission that resonates both with the past and with the present. I hope every councillor has read our submission. As the Financial Times pointed out this week, pensions committees hold the keys to local government's pensions assets. You can vote for the position your pension committee members should take. 10 councils have already done so, and PSC is campaigning across all the local authorities in your Brunel pension pool. Dorset Pension Fund complicit investments total £174 million across 71 companies, including BAE Systems, who supply components to combat aircraft, munitions, missile launching kits and armoured vehicles to Israel. Caterpillar, who supply D9 bulldozers used to demolish Palestinian homes, schools and villages. In companies who manufacture components for bombs, drones and F-35 jets. In the Israeli company Elbit Systems, who manufacture white phosphorus, cluster bombs and fleshlight projectiles. All of the above are used systematically against civilian targets today. We are asking that Dorset Council and its representatives on the Pension Committee, 1, commit to divest its pension scheme fund from companies complicit in Israel's genocide in Gaza and violations of international law and human rights, including arms companies supplying Israel and those complicit in Israel's unlawful military occupation of Palestinian land, and to end procurement contracts with companies complicit in Israel's attacks, such as Barclays.
I have 2.5 minutes to demonstrate the cruelty Israel has inflicted on over 14 million Palestinians, half of whom have already been ethnically cleansed from their land, 4 million living under military occupation in the West Bank, and 2 million facing genocide in Gaza. So which story do I choose? Dr. Al-Bersh, held for 4 months without charge in an Israeli detention center before he was tortured to death. 6-year-old Hind Rajab waiting for hours for the paramedics to save her. They never arrived. They were killed. The 8-year-old boy who walked into a hospital and when asked, "What's in your backpack?" replied, "The body parts of my little brother." Maybe the 3 British aid workers, John, James, targeted one by Israeli drones. For Doctors Without Borders, their stance is clear. Gaza is a mass grave for Palestinians. The genocide in Gaza is a continuation of 77 years of ethnic cleansing of Palestinians, so I must go back. 2014, 8 boys go to the beach to play football. 4 are killed by Israel in what their ministers call mowing the lawn. 18 years of blockade blocking things such as books, toys and wedding dresses. How Euromed put it, the strategy of suffocation and isolation. Maybe my aunt, 12 years old in 1948, living with her family in the hills of Jerusalem in Enkarim, ethnically cleansed and never able to return. Maybe my own story, traveling with my white mum and my British passport to Palestine and Israel. I could go into Jerusalem where my father could not. Despite his British passport, his brown skin was enough to bar him. Maybe the fact that I was actually quite happy he wasn't there, as an Israeli soldier stands there screaming at my mother and another one films it, getting joy out of their humiliation. I have run out, and I knew I would because 2.5 minutes is not enough time to tell you about the persecution of Palestinians and the violence in Gaza today. So I will leave you with this. In the last 18 months, Israel has killed 61,000 people, 17,000 children. 90% of Gaza's population has been displaced more than once. 290,000 children are experiencing famine. The UN shelters, hospitals, and even so-called evacuation zones have been bombed. Gaza's health infrastructure has been obliterated. UN experts declare that Israel's starvation camps is a form of genocidal violence.
Thank you. You've now had your 5 minutes between you with...
Thank you for taking the time to speak to the Council today on what is clearly an important and very emotive subject. I'm sure all members of the Council deplore the loss of life resulting from the conflict and all the other many conflicts around the world that are going on today. Dorset Council has delegated its responsibilities as a local government pension scheme administrating authority to a pension fund, committee, in common with most other local authorities in this country. You raise very valid concerns that the Pension Fund Committee will need to consider when it next meets on the 24th of June. The primary duty owed by the committee to our scheme members and their employers is to ensure that their contributions to the pension fund are invested appropriately and invested wisely. Our objective is to make sure that pensions are covered properly and invested appropriately. Every pound we choose to invest is a pound less somewhere else. The committee can, however, make decisions for non-financial reasons if we are satisfied that two conditions are met. One, that there is no risk of significant financial detriment to the pension fund, and two, that it would have the support of the majority of members contributors towards the pension fund. We also have to consider the practicalities of implementing any decisions that we make. So this matter will be considered at our next Pension Fund Committee meeting on the 24th of June, and hope to see you there.